Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Guilty as Charged podcast. Today, we're just going to be doing Jerry Tiller and Kenneth Murray highlights. Just kidding. There's my last April Fool's joke. We wouldn't do that to you guys. Gavino, thanks for joining me, man. Have you been fooled by April Fools at all today? And how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm trying to think of any tweets that I was fooled by. I've seen some corny ones, man. I've seen like Melvin Gordon signed a contract with the Chargers. I'm like,
Oh, no.
man, come on now. Like
Yeah.
credit to the guy whoever made that, but I haven't been fooled by any. I'm a Dodgers fan, so I know I'm gonna probably get slammed in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of Dodgers fans, but I saw AJ Pollock get traded for Craig Kimbrell, and I thought that was an April Fool's joke because I feel like any kind of trade that's going to happen on April Fool's Day
Right.
might be viewed as a joke. But then when I saw Ken Rosenthal reported, I'm like, okay, it's legit. They finally
Oh,
got
my gosh, that actually happened. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause I
it
know
happened.
Ian Rappaport certainly got fooled by some tweets of his own or some other tweets. So, yeah, we're not going to do any April Fool stuff up here. Today, we're going to be talking about some edge rushers in this class. Gavino presented to me this Finding the Edge series where we're going to look at guys probably on day 3 that the Chargers should target, obviously, with them not taking one in the first round, probably, and certainly not able to take one in the second round. You're going to be looking ones at third round or later. And honestly, it seems like they're going to take a day 3 approach to this, although you never know. So before we get into the film, I just wanted to ask, especially because a lot of our fans have seen the All In episode, they've seen the Staley press conferences. He's been talking about, a certain prototype that he wants at edge. And obviously there's no Khalil Mack in the third round or the fourth round here, but I think a lot of fans are keying into that Staley has a type, and the Chargers, John Spanos, Tom Telesco, they want to get Staley his type. So before we get into these two players, what is Staley's type at edge rusher, at least as far as like an edge 3 would go, or a guy they'd take on a day 3?
I think regardless of edge 3, edge 4, wherever you are on the depth chart, I mean, he's looking for guys with long arms. Specifically, I mean, you look at Chris Rumph, he drafted him. He had 33 and 3/4 arms, I believe. Again, it doesn't matter about the frame, but there's certain types of testing. You have to have explosive testing. So, that's certainly what Chris Rumph had. He met a certain criteria, and that's something that he looks at with these edge rushers, dating back to Justin Hollins coming out of Oregon. I know he's been with him. So I mean that's just like a good example right there. But length and explosiveness is kind of what he looks for and what he favors with his edge defenders. And with this class, it's definitely deep. We have like your top tier talent. The Chargers could have been looking at one specifically, caught my eye, and that's David Ajabo. But unfortunately, he is out. He got hurt, so I don't see him as being a first round candidate anymore. So now we're looking at day 2 guys, so with the round 3 pick, and then day 3 guys. So that's why I wanted to start this series because, quite frankly, I thought the Chargers were going to look to free agency. I like Ogbo Okoronkwo. He was a guy who I thought fit that mold that Staley would like, and he worked with him with the Rams. With the top end guys like the Hassan Reddicks, and I think there was a possibility, especially with whatever happened with Lieutenant Nwosu, but we'll take Khalil Mack all day to pair with Joey Bosa. So now we're kind of looking for that edge 3, and we're looking to the draft. So obviously may not be the most ideal spot. You're looking at a Kyler Fackrell. He was a veteran. They may sign someone, but it's obviously very thin, the edge defender group. So, now on to the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into it. So I'll bring up the film here. Here we go. So who do we have first on here for these plays?
Yeah, so what I wanted to do with this series was bring on guys who aren't being talked about as much, or are starting to get talked about a little bit more. And, now we're approaching April. So guys are becoming pretty familiar with the media bringing up their names, and then the combine testing. And that pertains to this guy that I'm going to show right now, and that's Amare Barno. At the combine, he ran a very, very fast 4.38 combine, or I'm sorry, 4.36 40 at the combine. He jumped 37, 4.45 short, 20-yard shuttle, and he came in at 6'5", 246 with 34-inch arms. So obviously he kind of passes that mark right there, looking at like the arm length. And again, this is a guy that kind of went under the radar, Senior Bowl guy, who I was able to kind of get my eyes on, being out there in Mobile. He's a guy that I didn't watch too much tape on him, but obviously after the combine, these are people you have to go back and watch to see if that does match their tape. And then when I went back after the combine, I came away very impressed, and I could see him being a Staley type of guy. So I'm going to show 5 players. We're going to get into Alex Wright out of UAB right after this, but I'm going to get into 5 plays, exemplifying how he does against the rushing the passer and then against the run. So the first play here, he's going to be on the right side of your screen, so going up against the left tackle. He uses his arms as his advantage to gain leverage, and he also has a good amount of strength to supply push on the blocker. So I'll go ahead and run through this play, and obviously we'll look at the first step. He's able to gain good ground, and from here he gets leverage, pushes him back, so he's all the way in the pocket. Good play recognition, so he's going to go with the spin inside and then just chase his quarterback down. But you can kind of see right there how that speed matches up to the game film. By being able to chase that quarterback down, forces the fumble right there too. So good play overall, good recognition, again, good leverage, and a good sign of just explosion right off the bat. So here, by the way, all this isn't going to be all 22, whatever is made available to me. So we're going to see some broadcast film, but he's going to be lined up across from the left tackle, so more so on the top of your screen. He's going to be in a 4-point stance. So from here, he's going to, again, get off the line. He's going to go with a 2-hand swipe to clear hands. He's going to flatten to the quarterback right there. And again, another forced fumble. So I'll go ahead and run through that one more time to kind of just show you. So gains good ground right here. Again, he uses his hands right there. So blockers he has his hands out wide. He swipes those away. Again, flattens to the edge, unlike Kenneth Murray. And again, is able to knock down the ball. I had to throw in a joke. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's real life. So I had to throw that in there. Next play. So again, it might be a little grainy, but he's lined up the same spot. So across from the left tackle, and what he's going to go here is he's going to push this left tackle to collapse the pocket. It's going to force Sam Howell to drop or move up into the pocket where he's able to get the sack. So I'll go ahead and run through that one more time from the beginning. So again, gains good ground right here, gets good push all around. And then with the other guy coming in too, it forces him to step up. But, from that, you're able to see what he's like as a pass rusher. So he uses that explosion. He gets good ground. He uses that arm length to create separation between him and the blocker. And again, you're able to see that strength and get that push. Unlike with Chris Rumph, he's not going to be relying so much on strength. We already talked about him quite a bit. It's all pure effort. Just relying on that speed. He needs to be kept free. Barno is a guy who can go heads up and beat blockers with his arm length, and then with his strength too. So I think that's something that the Chargers need in this room. Yes, they might just be looking for just a pure athleticism, trying to keep themselves free. But when you have the strength to beat blockers too, it goes hand in hand. So with Barno, now we're going to be kind of going against how he does against the run. This first play, he's used as a quarterback spy, and this more so exemplifies his closing speed and how that 4.36 40 translates. So with Sam Howell, he's going to back up here, and I'll run through that again. So he's going to be, let me show you where he's lined up. So he's going to be on the left side of your screen right here. Make sure if I can get that. There we go. So he's going to be on the left side of your screen. So he's just standing in a stood up position. this shows good eyes right here. Again, he's not going to fool for anything. Sam Howell has nowhere to go, just that closing speed to get to him.
Wow.
And again, forces a fumble. So that's, I mean,
Mhm.
that's good to see. Like, I mean, I showed you some plays earlier where two of those first plays, he was able to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, and right there too, it just goes to show that he is going for that football. You know, we saw Joey Bosa last year with the strip sacks. You know, I think that's what Brandon Staley wants is he wants
Mhm.
turnovers. He wants the ball, and Joey Bosa did a great job. And we're able to see that with Barno early on. And here he is going this again against the run now. So with him being able to hold, contain, good eyes all around. So he's going left side of your screen. He's going to read the play all around. Stays extended, beats that blocker, and then closes in on that play. For looks like a minimal gain tackle for loss right there. So again, well-rounded player all around.
Mhm.
As a pass rusher, we see that explosion. We see how he knows how to use that length properly. We see some strength. You know, he was dropped back into coverage, especially his final year at Virginia Tech. And again, now he knows how to defend the run, showing good eye discipline and using that length to create separation. So that way he's not going to get held up and caught up. So
Mhm.
that's a good example right there from the testing standpoint and the film of Barno and how he can kind of be a player that Staley could have his eyes on. So before we
So
go on
what
to
are so what I just wanted to ask because I know that the draft network, their big board isn't the end all be all, but he's projected to go on their board he's 258th, which again doesn't mean, I think Neil Farrell is also in the 250s or whatever. He's not the 250th ranked player by any means. So A, where do you think, like, what round should the Chargers expect him to go? And then B, what are his limitations? Like, why would the draft network put
when you
him?
see a player like that, especially at the edge defender position, tests like that and run like a 4.36, he's going to move up a few spots. I saw him as like a round 5-6,
Mm,
round 5-6 player.
mhm.
Now I kind of see him in that round 3-4 tier. Again, I'm not going to move him up to second round necessarily, but if someone blows up a combine like that, you're going
Mhm.
to see him help his stock, and that's why it's such a big deal with this athletic testing. Sure, I take pride in film and being able to match that up
Sure.
and what the player actually is, but when we talk about traits and everything and the athleticism, and when you see a guy like that, run a 4.36 and running faster than some of these receivers, again, you're going to take the chance on those traits right there. And on film, he showed a pretty good player, all around too. Sure, there's stuff that needs to be worked on. He's pretty lean, for 6'6", 245.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
again, it looks like he has room to fill out. He's a little bit bigger than Chris Rumph, obviously. But again, you're going to need to pack on a little bit more onto that frame. But still, I see it, with their round 3 selection you're looking at taking
Okay.
there. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And obviously, the Chargers are okay with taking a guy who needs to fill out his frame a little bit more. That's what Chris Rumph did. And I don't recall what he was at the combine, but he certainly looks like a bigger athlete as soon as he stepped onto the field for the Chargers.
those are just
So,
like, yeah, it's like explosive characteristics that you're just going to bank on right there too. So
mhm.
with him, he made some. We talked about making money at the combine. He did that too.
Yeah.
But um, yeah. So we have any other questions on him?
Arjun jumps in and says, "How's the vibes tonight? Hopefully, they're good." Arjun, I hope you're doing well. Everybody else is asking about Tua's cousin. I forget his name. I apologize. It just says Tua's cousin. I don't know what his name is. Obviously, it's something. Is it Myron Tagovailoa?
Maryland quarterback?
No,
Or
isn't
I'm
there?
sorry,
Isn't
no.
the
Okay,
Notre Dame kid,
that's
right?
his brother. They're talking about the Notre Dame.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, So he's a guy that I'm not going to go in depth or whatever, because again, this is
Okay.
going to be like a two-parter, maybe a three-parter, breaking
Mhm.
down two edge defenders. But I can tell you that he didn't fall in one of those videos, like one of those categories. But
Mm.
I can make a thread about him, and I don't really see him as a Staley type of fit. for a couple reasons. So that's something I feel like I can do separate. But, with this series, I have specific guys that I'm going to be covering, but he wasn't one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I highlighted.
So before we move on to the next player, but I definitely do want to get to the next player. How would you compare Barno? I guess who's more ready, who could make more of an impact? Rumph coming out of college or Barno coming out of college? Just for like a comparison for Chargers fans.
Barno.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Why?
with those explosive traits, how he's able to not only get after the quarterback but defend the run. You can kind of see that he knows how to use that length. He's stronger than Chris Rumph too, coming out of college. And again, Rumph is a guy that you need to keep clean, and we saw that with the Chargers. They were using him on stunts. Like with Barno, you can get him, stand him up, put him out a wide 9, even a little bit closer to the ball, and then just let him have at it. He's going to be more of like a pass rush specialist, but when it comes to dropping the coverage, he looked a lot smoother too than Rumph. And I know that with Duke, they put him all around in a variety of ways near the line of scrimmage. But again, I'd say Barno is more ready, and I wouldn't be surprised if Barno goes earlier than where Rumph was taken to.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That round 3 sort of range. Yeah, I could see that. The Chargers, I'm not saying they always reach in the 3rd round, but I feel like they're most prone to reach in that 3rd round. So I could see, I'm not saying he's a reach, but like I could see them taking a guy who maybe we think is going to go in the 4th. So them taking Barno in the 3rd. I could see that happening. Guys that are in the chat, everyone's asking about either making jokes or asking about Kyle Hamilton or a Derwin James extension. Guys, ask about edge rushers. Ask about anything you want when it comes to edge rushers. We have plenty of comments in the chat. Just they're all about joking about Slater, joking about Murray playing right tackle. So, which maybe,
we probably shouldn't have done this video on April Fool's Day, man.
Yeah. We're definitely getting some comments for sure. So if you guys have any questions about edge rushers, Gavino be more than happy to answer them, or maybe even just defensive line. That'd be great. Kyle Hamilton is awesome. Maybe we can ask him about that later. But anywho, let's move on to the next player.
Yeah. So the next player that we're going to cover is Alex Wright, and this is a guy who stood out to me. I was a big fan of Jordan Smith coming out. I'm sure that you know who he is, Tyler, coming out last year from UAB, Jordan Smith, or unless you didn't get a chance to watch him. I forgot where he was taken, but I was a big fan of him. He ended one of the Senior Bowl. But yeah, so he popped, and he definitely had a good junior season. So he finished with 6 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, I believe. But he was, again, another player that went under the radar. But again, like once the season ended, you're able to get grasp of the film. And it could be because he's at a lower level school. He's not going to be one of these Power 5 schools. So it's going to be a player who immediately stands out. So he definitely started to come out and be more well-known, I guess you could say. So when you look at the measurements, he's a little bit bigger than Barno, 6'5", 271 with 34-inch arms, I believe. So again, he's got long arms, and again, UAB put him out wide. They line him up inside, which I'll get to in a little bit, but he was able to win in a variety of ways. I am a big fan of Travon Walker. That's not going to happen anymore. It was short-lived. But again, with Wright, he's a guy that I think you can reduce inside as well. We saw them do that with Joey Bosa. I would imagine they would do it with Khalil Mack too. And that's what kind of entices me with what they can do with Wright, being 6'5", 271, and having the the size, the strength, and the length. So can move really, really well for his size too, which we're going to get into. So with this first play, it's against Liberty. Malik Willis, he's going to be on the left side of your screen going up against this right tackle. So right off the bat, you're able to see him get off right here. And again, he's going to do a little bit of chop to clear hands, and then he's still working good ankle mobility to work around the track, little dip, and then look at that closing speed to get to him. Like, that's really quick the way he closes in. So I'll go back.
Yeah, chasing Malik Willis, no less.
Show you right there. So again, he's going to go with a club move, and then again, the ankle mobility to not get too far, flatten to the quarterback, chase him down, and Willis has nowhere to go with that ball. This next play, he's going to be lined up inside, so as a 3 technique. So he's going to be lined up across from the right guard. Again, with the broadcast film, maybe a little bit grainy. He loves to rely on a swim move or an arm over move. That's what he does here. So he's going to get off the ball, and he's working upfield. Goes with an arm over, so the blocker completely whiffs on him, and then he's able to finish in on the play right there. So we see it again. So he's going to be lined up inside, and he's going to work inside. So again, like I pause it right there, and you can just see him completely lunging. So he knows how to work those inside moves. Again, so right there, and then he's going to go arm over. Look at that. The blocker's completely looking the exact opposite. What just happened right there.
Wow.
Closes in on the play. So again, before I get into how he does against the run, just kind of going back and like how he is as a pass rusher. Again, he uses that speed. He's able to work upfield. He's a little bit raw. I'd like to see him do a little bit better with his hands, but just completely working upfield and then just turning the corner. He's got pretty good bend for being 6'5", 271. He looks good coming off the ball with that first step. But when it comes to working with his hands, I'd like to see a little bit more detail in that area to become more of a complete pass rusher. But you can see like what he can do outside, inside, and that's what I was talking about. Like I like the Travon Walker for that specific reason, and what they're doing with Joey Bosa by kicking him inside and keeping him out, so he could be a player. Just looking at if Staley wants that type of edge rusher, I'm not too quite sure if he wants to add another one of those where he can kick inside, outside. Because with Fackrell, I mean, he was primarily lining up out wide. But it would be fun to get a player, and when you have someone of those measurables and then of that skill set who knows how to win, inside, outside, and there's no slouch, then it would be fun to bring in. And again, from tape, he looks explosive. He didn't run at or I'm not sure if he was invited or not to the combine, but there was no numbers on him. And I've been waiting for his pro day numbers, but I don't think I've been able to find those anywhere. I could double check. But those I like to use to like back up, what we see. Because I'm looking here, 40-yard dash, did not participate, 3 cones. So, but regardless, like when you look at a guy like that on film and how he knows how to get into the backfield, using just that explosion off the ball, and we'll see more so with the strength and how he uses that to defend the run. Here, I'll kind of run through this. So he's going to be opposite the right tackle here. So he's going to slide a little bit. He's going to take on this H-back right here completely. So boom, hits the hole, sees the running back, disengages, makes the tackle for loss. So yeah, I mean, he's going to use that size to his advantage. And again, when he's in that type of situation, like with Rumph, he's more of a slippery guy. That's like just pure strength right there. He doesn't give ground. He holds his own. And then with this last play right here, this just explosion, just pure explosion off the ball. He's in a chase. James Cook backside. He doesn't make the tackle, but he does, impact it enough so his teammates can clean it up. So he's going to be on the against the right tackle, so more so the bottom of your screen, and he's going to completely get free, impact the play. You see how they clean it up, but just look how fast he gets off the ball, most importantly. So stop right there, quick. And, again, that's one thing I did see on film. There was some missed tackles. There was one play in particular against Liberty where he should have had a sack on Malik Willis, but he was unable to finish the play. So that's definitely more so on the weakness section right there, just being able to like finish plays. We saw that a lot with Melvin Ingram, needing to clean up plays. But regardless, you see like that combination of size, strength, and explosion. Another issue that I have with him, more so leverage, being that tall. There were times where he would lose the leverage battle, but regardless, when he's able to fire off the ball like that, he has the strength to hold his own. But yeah, all around, you can do a few different things with him, like kick him inside, outside. And I think it would just be fun to get a player like that. We're looking at, Staley's types, and sure, like it does match up with the measurables and everything. But yeah, I mean, we see with the guys that he brought in, with Fackrell, Rumph,
Mhm.
they fit that mold. But I think just getting a guy that can kick inside too would be fun. And yeah, so with Alex Wright, he's a little bit different than Barno, in
Mhm.
terms of the sizes all around, what they can do, where they can line up. But fun player for sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. I like the idea that, Rumph being maybe more of a twitch speedy guy. We'll see how he fills out, of course, and another guy who's maybe a bit more powerful on the other side of him as that rotational 3 or 4 or whatever. I think it's a really good combination for sure. Of these two guys, who do you have ranked higher?
I have Barno a little bit higher, and
Okay.
again, you like the versatility with what you can do with Wright, but with Barno all around, you look at just that explosion, and you have like the combine to back it up too. And I have
Mhm.
him ranked a little bit higher. I don't want to say where I have these guys ranked, because I'm going to drop
Yeah.
separate articles on ChargersWire eventually, just kind of going over my edge defenders, my interior defenders, and just doing write-ups on those. But yeah, I have Barno slightly, so just 2 spots ahead of him.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. So we've been praising these players, of course, and talking about what they can do. I did want to ask a question from Bolt Brett. What edge rusher would make you vomit if the Chargers drafted him at their respective spots? Now, I'm sure most players are not going to make you want to vomit. I don't think there's a hate player in this, but I guess what edge rusher do you think could be a complete reach and that some team like the Chargers would go for way earlier than expected? Or is there just a player that you are out on and you don't want to see them on the Chargers at their projected spot?
Are we talking edge rushers all together? Are we talking first round edge
You can
defenders, or
talk
how
any round you want.
any round that I want? Ones that I've watched. Um, when it comes to first rounder, like I'd be totally fine with any of them.
Mhm.
I will say I think Karloftis. Like I'll say
Okay.
Karloftis at 17.
Okay.
One, I firmly just don't believe he matches the
Matches.
Staley type of role, like
Mhm.
the persona. So, but at the same time, I'm a little bit lower than on him than
Mhm.
most are. Um,
Why?
why am I lower on him?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I think he's going to be one of those guys that, with the edge defender position, you're looking at pure um, traits. So like
Right.
what you can do with him, he's going to be more of just like a power
Mhm.
motor type of guy, in my opinion. He's going to be good against the run, but he just seems that he doesn't have the counters to win, and that kind of worries me, and especially like as a first rounder. And he doesn't have the traits necessarily to back it up. Yes, I know that he jumped 38 inches, but just from on film,
Yep.
it just
Mhm.
seemed like a little bit more sluggish. Not going to be one to be able to change directions, uh, average, moving laterally. And I think once like a tackle with longer arms, once they get his hands on him, it's going to be
Mhm.
over. So there's a little bit that I don't like about his game, and that's why I have him as a second rounder. So if they're to take him in the first rounder, which again, don't worry, I don't think they will. I would not be too thrilled about. One guy I'm actually going to add on top of that. So one guy,
Okay.
if they would take him at 17, I would not be as mad. And I know I might get blown up in the comments for this, but I wouldn't be mad if they took Arnold Ebiketie in the first round.
You wouldn't be mad or you would be?
I would not be mad.
I like it. Okay. I really like Ebiketie a
People are
lot.
waiting for the April Fool's comment, but I'm not saying April Fools.
I would understand, especially like if Ojabo was there, no, obviously. And if Walker, I mean, now we have Khalil Mack, so it doesn't really matter. But Ebiketie, like I really
Like
like
I could
him.
see him being like a starter, like right away in this league. Honestly, just like he's a type of rusher that has like a purpose, and that's what I talk about, like having a purpose. Like when you when you get after the quarterback, just being able to win inside, how he uses his hands. Like he was always just pressuring the quarterback, and he's a guy that I have a first round grade on. I might be higher on most, but he fits that mold. He's got 34-inch arms, 34 and 1/8-inch arms. So
yeah, tested
he kind
really
of
well.
fits that Staley mold. He jumps 38 inches. So I really like his film quite a bit. So I'm going to go with the player that I would not be mad about if they were to take an edge rusher in the first round.
I like it. I honestly like it, and I don't think we'd expect him to start, obviously, because of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
That's kind of a good example of a edge defender 3 right there.
That would be a great edge defender 3. I would love for them to trade back. I get someone like an Ebiketie, but yeah, I mean, I would get it.
I want them to trade back, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad. I don't know what the comments are like right now. I don't know what they're
no, people are just saying, he's not a bad, he's a solid, all around guy. I can't tell if they're referencing him in particular, but Jorge Rodriguez is saying he's horrible against the run. I don't know if he's horrible against the run. But you're definitely drafting him to be a pass rusher and to let him develop. So
that's the thing, and you got to keep in mind, I'm looking at it from like a pure pass rushing type of player. I'm not looking at how they do against the run. I think Ebiketie is fine against the run, but it's and he also has special teams experience too, so that also is good to know. But yeah, so let's go beyond that. They don't have a round 2 pick. That's the thing. They basically traded their second round pick for Khalil Mack, so it's a win all around. But like if you're looking at round 2, like edge defenders, we're in that like Nick Bonito category. I think Pascal, it could be there too. But round 3 edge defenders, if they were to take at their spot, that I'd be mad about. I don't think there's too many. Like I'll actually mention a few that I don't think, with Sam Williams, I think he's off the Chargers board completely.
Totally.
So I would be pretty happy because he is a hell of a player, but I think he's off their board altogether. I mean, with those off-field, issues, I think he still has those to clear up, but I just think they have him off their board altogether.
Right.
Christopher Allen from Alabama, hell of a player, but those injuries scare me.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Michael Clemens from Texas A&M. I loved his film, but I think he also has off-field issues too.
Okay.
So I don't want to mention the other guys because they're going to be separate videos.
Sure.
That I'm going to be doing probably next week. But again, so yeah, Karlaftis, I wouldn't be too thrilled about. Ebiketie in the first round, I would be. So I just wanted to add that because I figured it would add some fun.
Yeah, no, nice. I love it. You never know. I mean, last year, I don't think we expected it to happen, but we talked about Leatherwood being a possibility at 13, because Slater could have gone, Darisaw could have gone. Leatherwood tested very well, solid starter, Alabama, could have been a guy. Obviously, that didn't happen, and it definitely didn't work out for the Raiders so far. But you never know. You got to discuss all these things. And you never know. Everyone's got a different board. Everyone's all over the place this year, it seems. So, okay, big question here. A lot to it. You can answer it as little or as much as you want. Can you explain the front Staley wants to use in typical formations on first, second, and third down? Hard for the casual fan to understand, at least as it pertains to edge rusher.
Yeah, so when it comes to first and second downs, I mean, you're looking at guys that know how to defend the run as well. So, I mean, you're looking at Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack being on the field regardless for those, first 2 downs because they know how to defend the run. And that's why, with Chris Rumph, he came on the field on third down situation more so than not because you're looking at him to get after the quarterback. And, with Bosa, he would stay on the field, but they would rotate more often than not, those guys, because those are the ones, your pass rushing specialists that you want to be able to get on the field. And they're more likely going to be in a passing situation. And that's why with these edge defender 3s, I hear a lot of people say horrible against the run, a guy with Ebiketie, but you're going to be drafting him to get after the quarterback. So when it comes first, second down, you got to be prepared for that run. Or be prepared for the run. I think that's why the addition of Khalil Mack is, a good one because he's very stout against the run too, as is Bosa. So this is a team that did horrible against the run last season.
Mm-hmm.
But the third down, those are more of the pass rush specialists too. And, that's where they would kick Joey Bosa down when he'd be lined up opposite of interior offensive linemen. Then they would add another guy. So that's when you might see Fackrell and Rumph on the field at the same time. So,
yeah.
Or Nwosu, Rumph. So just one of those combinations.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one from Kareem here. With these edge guys taken in the 4th and later, are we typically expecting them to take time and not make an instant impact? I feel like the obvious answer is yes, but like how okay, in addition to that, how late can the Chargers take? Let's say they need another edge rusher by the time we get to the draft. How late can they take one? Obviously depends on your feeling of, your grades for those guys, I guess, but like they need an edge 3, and I think you and I are on the same page where Rumph is not one.
We're definitely on the same page, and that's why if they had that second round pick, it would be nice, but at the same time, it's the trade off for Khalil Mack, so you can't be mad about that. In my mock draft, I had them taking a guy in the 6th round, and I'm gonna make a separate video about it. But he's also one that the Chargers met with, and that's Wake Forest's edge defender. How do you not pronounce his name? I know you know who I'm talking about too, Tyler.
Oh, the guy who transferred away, Luigi Villain.
Yeah? Yes, from Michigan. That's kind of more of a pass rushing specialist. I took him in the 6th round in my mock draft.
Nice.
I think that's where he's gonna be taking that 6-7, round range. But with the Chargers, they have so many needs. Like they're a very talented roster, but they just have so much depth to clean up. And, I think with those holes along the offensive line, right guard and right tackle, it's difficult because, they're going to the draft. We're looking at, is Penning going to be the pick? Is Zion Johnson going to be the pick? So I feel like they just have so many holes in terms of depth that they have to use those to fill them. And without a second round pick, yes, they have a lot in the 6th round. Yes, they have a lot in the 7th round. And that's where they're going to probably be using guys who can fill that depth, but also supply special teams value. And I'm very surprised that they didn't add an edge defender 3, particularly a veteran. I thought Rumph, I thought Lorenzo Carter would have been perfect. And when you see what they were paid, I'm like, dang, the Chargers should have paid him that.
Yeah.
Because I like their idea with Fackrell. Like I like the what they did by him. Like he's a veteran. I think that's an ideal edge 3. But now you're looking at a rookie, and you're also looking at Chris Rumph, where I don't think he's developed. And with edge defenders, it takes them like 3, like sometimes 4 ceilings. We saw with Nwosu. I mean, he's finally started to hit his stride in the last season of his rookie contract. So that's the thing. I can't bank on Rumph being a guy, to get after the quarterback on a consistent basis. Like I would prefer a veteran, and I thought, Carter, Okoronkwo would have been able to fill that edge defender 3. And just seeing like the contracts, it's like, man, the Chargers could have paid that. Even just 1 year, just keep doing it over and over, and then look into next year's draft, take one the 1st round or something. But they're set with their starters, but they need that edge defender 3. But I would just prefer for it to be a veteran. That's just me. But at the same time, if I don't know, maybe they do plan on taking one of these guys with their 3rd round pick. With their 1st round, like I thought Ajabo would have been perfect, but again, I think Ajabo's going to probably go. Someone will take him in the 2nd round, in my opinion. Even though he's injured, I think some team will take him in the 2nd round. He's not going to fall to day 3, in my opinion. So
no, I doubt it. I don't know.
Let him sit. It's like the same thing with who did the Colts take? What was his name? He basically missed the majority of the season.
Oh, Kwity Paye?
No, not Kwity Paye. They took him in the 2nd round. Was that a Vanderbilt? He was the
an edge rusher?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm blanking on that guy.
Yeah. Because basically, like, you're taking guys like that. They know that they have. It's Deo Odeyingbo. Remember him?
Nope. I didn't grade him at all.
Okay. Yeah. They took him in the 2nd round, so he was hurt.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I just see with Ajabo. Like, who could be like a guy that could be a first rounder, that should have been a first rounder, but injuries are only going to push him to the second round because he's such a talented player. But
absolutely.
That's just an interesting thing, and it's gonna be an interesting thing how the Chargers approach the draft altogether, because they just they have these holes at depth spots that need to be filled. They have 9 selections. Cheers draft.
10, but there I think 8 of them are on day 3, so it's like they have 10, but 4 in the 7th round, 2 in the 6th round. So then they're
the
not
edge
worth
defender, the free agency class is not. There's really nothing there anymore.
I guess that answers that question. Rogue Tiefling asking if there's any edge free agents still available that you like. At this point, I think we're wrapped up for the most part. And I think by the time we hit next week, I'm just not really talking about free agency unless it's an Andre Robertson, Ode Abuji. But is there anybody left?
You know what? One guy that I will say that he's not a pure edge defender, but I'm waiting for them. I'm surprised they haven't signed is Morgan Fox. He's still out there. And as soon as they release, I even put up what do you do with Staley? I think he's perfect in that 4-eye-ish role, being able to rush off the edge, because he was a lot of fun when he was under Staley with the Rams. And I'm surprised that he hasn't been signed yet. And I thought I could have sworn that Staley would have brought him in. But in terms of just pure outside linebacker, edge defender, no, I'm not going to bring back Melvin Ingram.
People are asking. I mean, okay, well, why not? I understand why the Chargers even wouldn't, and why he wouldn't come back. But why would you not want him, or why would you not bring him back?
I just think that I'm talking from the pure Charger standpoint, because I feel internally there's something that probably went wrong, and that's why
potentially.
Exactly, but also those injuries happen. But yeah, I'm glad that he hit his stride. So I'm just talking in terms of the pure Charger standpoint. They're not known to bring back their players. I know that so and so released it. He used to play for the Chargers. I don't think Telesco is a guy to kind of go back and bring back.
No, I think it was just Jaleel Adai.
That was
like a desperation.
Safety had some desperation right there. I like Kamoko Toure is still available. I thought he.
I have no idea who that is.
What's that?
I have no idea who that is.
That just goes to show you how thin the edge defender group is.
Yeah.
But no, Morgan Fox is a guy who I still want, but again, he's not going to be that pure edge defender 3. He can kick inside, outside, but I think on the defensive line, where they still need some help, we're not done after Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day, that I think he'd be fun to be able to kind of move inside, outside. And obviously we saw what he did with the Rams under Staley. So it's really thin. And again, I like Carter and I like Okoronkwo. So now we're slim pickings right now.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. Although I didn't know who Kyler Fackrell was last year. So you never know. There could be somebody. I certainly didn't know who Ode Abuji was either. And that worked out. All right, last question before I let you go, because there are people asking about this particular player, not an edge rusher. Devontae White at 17. Thoughts? Your quick thoughts? Yes or no? And did you know that he was turning 24 or whatever this year, or that he's already 24? I did not know that until recently.
I'm all for it. I'll have my whole rankings of first round picks and what the Chargers should do, but I'm all for taking Wyatt at 17. I think he was at the top of my list before Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, and I have him ranked higher than Jordan Davis. I can't wait to put these interior defensive line rankings out there. I did put them on your live stream at one point, and I'm not very high on Jordan Davis despite his testing. I think you saw that, didn't you? Remember that you guys did that live stream of the ranking?
Oh yeah, no, I remember, and you were high on Fedarian Mathis, and I don't think any of us were as high as you.
Hey, that's a possibility. Mathis is still a possibility in round 3. I think he can get there.
Yeah, I could see it.
And if that's the case, we're running up to the podium.
You are. Steven certainly isn't. But you never know. All right, Kelsey Hammer says, sign Will Smith. He has excellent hands. That's a whole other thing. All right, guys. Oscar stuff aside, Gavino, thanks for joining me, man, talking about these edge rushes. We'll definitely do it again with more players. Of course, now that we're ending, we're finally getting more viewers. So I don't know what happened, but everyone's joining now. But whatever, I appreciate everyone tuning in and joining up. Make sure you check out Gavino's stuff. I'm putting together all the names onto a blank Google Sheet, big board right now, because all of us are going to combine our rankings to make some sort of ugly mess of a big board or something like that. So the three of us, Gavino, I don't know if Cole's doing one, but yeah, I'll be doing that. So Gavino, what are you doing now, or what's next? What can we look from you next?
Well, we're a little less than 4 weeks now, so I'll be doing my actual ranking. So on interior defenders, edge defenders, linebackers, and offensive linemen. So just like basically needs. Cole will be taking care of corners. He'll be taking care of wide receivers. So
Nice.
sure, we'll be missing some position groups like quarterback because it doesn't matter. We got Justin Herbert.
Nah.
So, but yeah, I'll be putting those out soon. I won't be doing the draft guide. Obviously, I think a few things happened that kind of put me off, but I'll still be able to do ranking like my top interior defenders with like a full breakdown on them. So it should be fun, and, just covering positions of need for the Chargers. So looking forward to that.
Love it. Can't wait to watch it. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Don't get fooled with anything the rest of today. Just turn off of Twitter, turn off of social media, avoid all the pranks and all that good stuff. All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, bolt up.